So now we're going to talk spoilers of Shazam. We're going to discuss this entire movie.
Again, full spoilers.
Yes, we have a review of it, spoiler-free. We'll post it in the comments. So, you liked this movie a little bit more than I did. I'm going to go into this villain thing. All right, because I think this is where the movie's biggest flaw
Villain was the weakest part.
Yes. Okay, so it starts off, and I'm loving it.
Because the villain also, well, I mean, I know the villain is always like central to the plot, but in this case, the movie starts off...
Which I loved.
I'm saying that he's very ingrained throughout the whole thing.
And I enjoyed that. I was on board. First 10 minutes of this movie, I was like, yes, this is great.
So when it gets into the villain, like... when he becomes the villain, it just
that was it.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it was the monster, like the 7 deadly sins.
I thought those were
the monsters that followed him.
Stupid.
Didn't they weren't off.
Well, it kills me in this. They go into the boardroom and he like throws his own brother out the window, and then he like threatens his dad. I'm like, all right, yeah, this is getting bad. Like, this is great. He's really super evil, and then the thing bites one of these people's heads off. I'm like, all right, this is the dark kind of crap I'm looking for. Awesome. And then that's it. And then we barely see the 7 deadly sins again, and then they're not as violent as they were in that boardroom, and it just kind of...
Yeah, there's just something off about... I don't think it was necessarily Mark Strong. I think it was just the monsters.
No, it wasn't Mark Strong.
I think it was just the monsters. So, not necessarily the villain. It was more of the surrounding... the monster sins.
Yeah, it's the choices that were made, which I have an issue with here.
Yeah.
But he didn't really bring that out into him. You didn't really understand... I mean, okay, so he was jealous of him, and then you're like, oh, I want the ultimate power. Why?
Because those things wanted it. All right, I understood that. Come on.
I understand that too, but that's not enough of a draw to say, like, oh, I'm really after you because those things want me to do it so they can destroy the world again? Like, what was the whole meaning of that? So they could do what exactly? Like, oh, they're using you. Well, I wanted to
control the...
Whatever. Put that in his head. Let's hear what they're saying into his head. And maybe have a conflict between, hey, I'm kind of a good guy, but I'm hearing their voices. I'm really bad. And you know what? Eventually I'm just going to say, oh, I want to be bad. Like, where was that? Like, you heard that in the beginning. That's what I mean.
All right, Mr. Negative.
No, I'm not. I am being negative because I expected a little bit of writing than just throwing it out there.
I'm going to go into the positives.
All right, go
Zachary
for it.
Levi.
Oh, yes, he was a positive.
He was great.
He was great.
He was so much fun. And, like, you believed that Billy Batson was inside. Like, he was him. He was
I will say,
they
had good chemistry.
That was great.
Even though they probably were never on screen together.
No, of course not. But Zachary Levi was a positive. I liked the Foster family and the Foster kids.
That's fine.
Like, they were, like, I liked just the whole story of the Foster family in the school and just... I don't know, just that whole thing. I mean, that was all a very big positive, which is the whole middle section of the movie.
Yes, but it's also him learning his powers, which is the middle
that's
section.
The whole middle section. Not to say that I didn't care for the beginning section,
but then it stops. It starts at the beginning of the villain thing, and you're like, okay, I'm digging this, and then it just slows down to a crawl, and you're not really invested in the characters, and you're just kind of along for the ride, and it's a very slow ride. And then once he gets the powers and becomes Shazam, and it starts to pick up. Yeah, it was great on that. It was entertaining. It was funny. There was the moment in the convenience store. I was laughing pretty good. I mean, that was, other parts, I was, even when the guys getting maced, I thought, oh, yeah, here's a twist on that. Like, no, I'm fine. You don't have to help me. Like, okay, that was cool.
But how he interacts with people.
Right, because he's an idiot. Because he's a 14-year-old kid.
He's a 14-year-old boy. Like, literally. I mean... That's what was so funny about the convenience store was
I like to have you find this alcohol.
Yeah, he shoots him in the chest a bunch, and he's like, "Well, what if it's just your suit?"
Yeah, that was hysterical.
What if it's just your suit that is bulletproof or bullet immunity? Shoot him in the face! Shoot me in the face! Shoot me! They just
what if you shot me in the face?
Like they just keep shooting in the face. Like I don't know why, but. If it didn't work, that's what was so
dead.
Like, they're just stupid kids. Like,
right.
It
was great. There were other funny parts about the movie, which I thoroughly enjoyed. When the bus is about to fall and he takes a mattress and throws it down there, like, it's okay.
It was.
I would have preferred even a little more of those jokes and I think they did that a decent job, but I think they could have thrown in a couple more where it's like, a 14-year-old kid doesn't understand the concept of like physics. Like, this bus, if he falls, he can just fall in the mattress. Like, no, you idiot. Like, I wanted to see more of, like, he doesn't know his own strength. And, you did see some of that, but really, like, there's the accident when he shoots the bus, but like, oh, I accidentally crushed this person's whatever, or his car, or I flew into this, or, show the recklessness of a 14-year-old. I mean, he was, but I didn't like the whole, oh, he's out there doing powers for money. I'm like, but you just blew up an ATM. Like, just do that more. I mean, I didn't get the motive behind that, but whatever. It's whatever.
It was lighthearted. It was fun. It was fun to experience that superhero. It wasn't a chore.
I agree.
That's what, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, an origin, like, slam my head against a wall. No, it wasn't that at all. It was like Zachary Levi. I'm looking forward to seeing him again. And I hope he's on screen with Dwayne Johnson, because that would be awesome. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think that'd be awesome. Which, the part in the beginning when the Shazam and the wizard shows like the mythology behind the council giving the powers to the one that turned it, which is Black Adam, and you can kind of tell that like
you think
that was Black, like you could tell it was the Rock, which is really cool.
I didn't catch that. You caught that. I didn't.
I kind of like no, I was like that looked like him because I knew what they were getting at. But I'm like so that's like really exciting going forward. And then of course at the very end, one of our favorites showed up.
Yes, Superman. I would like to see his face. I realized it was like a scheduling thing or something
Superman,
like that. But you did have the actual suit, like so that was cool. I didn't expect it. I thought it just wasn't going to work out, and he wasn't going to be in it at all. But
a lot of good references.
Yeah, good Easter eggs. So.
A lot of good Easter eggs. Yeah, there was some. I didn't have a lot. The only negatives were just part of like the villain in the story.
See, for me, the end fight scene, I was bored. Now look, part of it was fun when all the kids get the powers. Are like, okay, and I like that part. I liked, like, okay, yeah, like when the kid goes Hadouken, and she's talking about Santa. She's like, I like you. Like, that's an adult, but okay, that's the kid. I get it. I thought that was cute. Like, this is what they would be like if they got totally fine with that. They should have focused on just Shazam and that guy fighting, but they jumped back too much between them. You weren't invested in those characters. Those are brand new characters that just showed up on screen. You don't really care that they're fighting those monsters, and the monsters are stupid anyway. We've built Shazam up this whole time, this evil guy this whole time, and they barely fight. They fight very little bit. I wanted to see a long...
Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
Like, really fly through the city, really use your powers. He never, I wanted to see more of that and not skip back, and every time it built up, then they switched back to the kids, and it just took me out of it.
Remember, he doesn't know his powers.
I understand that, but you can still bring that fight scene into it a little bit better and show more of that. Show how he's kind of, cowardly, but also strong, and running into things, and being careless, but also being brave, and, what you need to be a superhero. So that's what bothered it for me, was that it just couldn't get there. It was so close to being... really good, actually. It was just so close, but it couldn't get there, and that's why I had to knock it down a few points. I don't think this was a failure.
No.
Right? No, it was a success. I'm saying me. I'm saying other people should probably go see this, especially if you have a family. Kids will absolutely love this movie.
It's fun. It's not hard to follow.
No, it's great. It's fine.
Yeah.
But for me, I felt like they could have done better, and I wanted to see them do a little bit better than what they did. That's all I'm saying, and I'm allowed to have that opinion.